Everybody for coming. I'm glad to see such a nice crowd. And we're going to start off by singing Grandma happy birthday. She's 90 years old. And we got her a little hat here. We couldn't get 90 candles on the cake without burning the cake down. We got her a hat to wear instead of putting the candles on the cake. What do you think? Can we light them? We think you wear it. We don't want to mess your hair. But we could put it on Myron. We wouldn't mess his hair. Oh, okay. Well, here, I'll just hold it right here. How about this?
There you go.
You got the little tag there.
There we go.
Just a minute, I didn't want to take a picture.
Oh, I don't want to be in all these pictures.
You can get a little closer, don't mess up her area.
Oh, okay.
There.
Okay.
Smile, boys.
That's fine. Maybe we're doing this because we love you.
You cross him off, we will too.
Okay, does everyone want to stand when we sing happy birthday here? If you say no, Grandma, you sit.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edna. Happy birthday to you.
Grandma told me that I wasn't allowed to say any jokes, but the first one I got to say is about the minister here. And it happened last Sunday. The minister was in church and he said, does anybody in the congregation have any enemies? Grandma raised her hand up. And he said, Edna, you mean you don't have any enemies? And she says, nope, I outlived them all. This time we're going to have Sarah play happy birthday on the piano. Sarah is her youngest great-grandchild.
And she's your daughter.
And my daughter.
But we're not proud of that.
I have a short little history here on Grandma. Edna Opp was born on February 14th, 1911, 14 and a half miles northeast of Eureka. She was married to Gus on May 21st, 1933. And I was told that she met Gus at a party that she wasn't even invited at, but she heard there was a bunch of young men coming to town, and she went over there. Grandma has seen a lot of changes in her life. She grew up in the horse and buggy age, and she came through the running water and electricity, which many of you guys can remember, all the way to, you could say, cyberspace, where you can buy something right on a computer. She had 3 brothers and 3 sisters, and they had 5 children: Myron, Maxine, Royal, Velma, and Joanne. She had 7 grandchildren, and after today, maybe 6. They had 10 great-grandchildren and 81 first cousins. So much for the history, now we get to the fun stuff. I have a little thing I'd like to show you guys how my grandma likes to play cards. We play a lot of cards during Christmas and stuff, and she always likes me to be her partner. And her favorite one is when she gets her cards, she gets them all lined up like this. And then she'll say, well, I can't really bid, but I think you should. Now we have a letter to our grandma that's going to be read by Amanda and Christine and Sarah. Are you guys going to want the mic?
You have been an inspiration in our life. Your powerful, positive energy, your wit, your eloquence with words, your persistence in making places in your world better are all the strengths we perceive as one we have attempted to imitate. We still have the Barbie doll clothing made for us and cherish them. We hope that someday our own children will be able to enjoy them as we did. Our clowns are another loving memory of you.
We know we have not been an integral part of your everyday life, but we do not want you to know that we think about you almost daily and hope that our thoughts traverse the miles to caress your heart from us.
got a little story to tell you about Velma and Bob and Grandpa and Grandma when they lived up at the other house. And they were laying in bed one night, and they could talk to each other through the bedroom. And Grandma was laying there telling Velma all the things she had saved for her and she was going to get. And Bob said, well, I hope you don't give her your hips. And I'd like to direct your attention to these pictures. Spin a little bit. This picture was taken out at Velma and Bob's, and they mailed us all one, and we kind of thought that was kind of neat to do something like that and get around a horse like that. But we thought we could do that a little bit, so we mailed them one back with her on this four-wheeler after one of her big hunting trips. So then all of a sudden, the next summer we get them back, and she's out driving boats. So we got her, you can't see it good in this picture, a pair of rollerblades for Christmas when she was rollerblading. But she said, enough is enough. She doesn't want any more pictures, but I don't know if you guys know that, oh, I forgot I was going to do something. I'm sorry. Let's get back to the horse picture. Anyway, now that she turned 90, we don't want her on these big horses anymore. So we got her a little gift. Now this will be a little bit easier to ride. Anymore, and this gun is a little bit getting heavy for you. We got you a little safer mop. There you go. That one, you should be able to handle that one a little bit better. And of course, we can't forget about the boat. We got you a little safer boat that we thought you could play with in the tub. Here's these motors aren't quite as big on these. And we got the rollerblades here. Instead of rollerblades, we got you a little pair of boots. They're too small. Anyway, she said no more pictures, but if you guys, I don't know, most of you local people probably know that she's taken up a new hobby. She's been out ice fishing. And she's been known to be a pretty good fisherman. The other day in the bait shop, they caught her weighing up some fish. So we got her. She's showing me and Leslie up pretty good. She has not seen this picture
Yeah, I see.
Pretty big fish on there. I'll pass it around you Anyway, one of Grandma's gifts that she wanted from everybody was, she wanted all her grandchildren to go be in church this morning with her. In fact, my book on 101 pies that I got it. At this time, I'd like to ask anyone if they'd like to say anything to Grandma and come up here and talk. I know you're coming, though.
Isn't anybody else?
While Delma's talking, I'd like you guys to figure something out. She's 90 years old now, and I'm 42. That means that she's over half my age. When she turns 100, I'll be 52, then I'll be over half her age.
You ain't gonna even turn that old.
I said I wouldn't be scared to come up here and talk, but now I am. Mom, just a little more on a serious note. To me, you've been a wonderful mother. You have a lot of the qualities of the virtuous woman we read about in Psalm 31. To me, you've been a real inspiration as a godly woman, and I want to thank you for that, for raising me in a Christian home. As children, you always taught us we had to pray, even if it was Unbelievable Father Amen. Maybe sometimes we didn't know what it meant in German. And the Lord's Prayer, but it's just so important to you that we would talk to God. And reading your Bible daily is a memory I'll always have. No matter how late we get home at night, you always see a dim light in my mom's room, and I know she's reading her Bible. And I can call her about a little problem. She says, I'll pray for you, and I know she will. When she says, I pray for you, I know she does, for all her children and babies. Donna, thank you for all those special treasures. And not only as a virtuous woman, Mom, I see you blessed with so many of the fruits of the Spirit. You show us love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, and faith. And to all that, I have to add just a few words. There are two more words that I have to add to that. And the reason for that is Myron and Royal. The good Lord looked down at you, and he saw Myron, and he said, that woman needs patience. And he gave you patience. And then along came Royal, and I see a couple of our hired girls here, Betty and Marlene. When Royal was a child, the Lord said, oh, she needs a whole load of patience and a semi-truck load of endurance. But you made it through that too. You raised Royal and Myron. Okay. I really don't know how most of you see my mother, but as a family, she is just so special to us. Now I'm crying. But talk about fun. I mean, we can get together, whether it's here in North Dakota, Myron's whole family, or out on the West Coast. There's about, I think there's 8 or 9 of us first cousins, and we'll get together. And when my mother is there, everybody's around her. She can tell stories. She remembers things that nobody else can. And it's just so much fun to be with her. And and like the pictures that you prove it to, you know, we take the pictures, she'll say, oh, what did people think? Or, you know, she might be embarrassed, but through it all, she's having fun with us, and we're all having fun. And that's what it's been about being raised with my mother. I mean, she's just been there for us and always fun to be with. In fact, when I was about, I think I maybe was 13 or 14, I can't remember. She'd remember, but I asked her. How many of you remember the show on TV, Queen for a Day? Remember that show? We used to dine along, we'd fix lunch, and then come home from the field that we needed to eat, and then we'd sit and we'd watch Queen for a Day. I had to be 13 or 14, I was TV. But what Queen for a Day was, people would send in things about women that had heart mother that she would write something up and we send it in, because I thought she should be clean for a day. My mother was 46 or 47 years old. She had lost one daughter who was born 1 month. She lost a 16-year-old daughter in a tragic automobile accident. Then my father became disabled at the age of 46, and she lovingly took care of him, and I know she helped nurse him back to health, where he drove to Washington several times in the car by himself. And during this time, they were married 25 years. And knowing Eva, the good hostess and cook she is, they were married already. Eva came and she said, Mom and Dad are married 25 years, we have to celebrate them. My dad was bedridden. My mother, Eva said, we'll get him out the wheelchair, we'll push him to the table, and we're going to have cake. Eva baked the cake. She ran to the coast store and actually bought a plate with silver on it, royal and I, and then signed the card. That afternoon, the sheep got out. Mom climbed over the fence. She broke her shoulder, and we took her to the Eureka Hospital. So here we were. I knew we had 2 couples in that night, and she was sitting at the table with her shoulder broke, and my dad in a wheelchair, and we celebrated his 25th anniversary. So without all that, at the age of 46, I thought she should have been queen for the day. But with faith, she lived through all that. And her memory is something. My cousin Herbert came today, and we talked about that. If you want to know a date, somebody's birthday or anything, ask my mother. She knows it. She knows birthdays of all her nieces and nephews. She knows a lot of those 81 cousins. And the neat thing about this is, too, since Royal and my family live out in Washington, we can get together sometimes when it's 10 o'clock out there, it's 12 here. When it's 11 there, it's 1 o'clock in the morning here. And if we disagree on somebody's birthday, we say, call Mom. We don't think, well, it's 1 o'clock, because Mom doesn't care. We can call her at 1 o'clock in the morning. She answers the phone like, oh, yeah, what do you want? You know, it doesn't bother her one bit. And this I thought was funny. Royal and Betty lived nearby up by a lake, and our other cousin Mavis, Ed's daughter, they were together one night, and they were trying to discuss who was the oldest in Herbert Shower's family. Herbert is Lester, they're going back and forth. So they said, let's call Mom. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. They called Mom. They asked her. She says, well, what? Don't you know it's Milford? And they said, oh, what kind of Herbert and Lester? Oh, well, you don't ever ask Mom how old is somebody, because you don't get that answer. Well, Milford was born in this year and that day, and Herbert was born this year, that day, Lester, and she has to tell you the whole family when they were born. So they hang up, and they're laughing about this, that we knew she'd know it. So Betty jokingly says, I'll bet she doesn't know when I was born. So as late as it was, Royal turns around, calls Mom, and he says, Mom, do you know when Betty was born? Mom says, doesn't she know? You've given us 2 books on family history. You and your Aunt Esther wrote one on the Opp family, and had to send it for everyone. You did a great book on the Schlepp family. She lived with us in Washington for 8 years. We enjoyed that a lot. And if you remember, in the 80s was the Rubik's Cube. I don't know how many of you worked on that and how hard it was. I never figured it out. At our house, my mother was the first one to figure out the Rubik's Cube. She did it. She's always been willing to play games. And this is a childhood memory, Mom, I will always have with me. You and Dad, you would always sit at the table and play games with us. So it was shiny, checkers, cards, rooks. You were always there for us to have fun. And if there wasn't a game available, my mother made a game. When we did dishes and Eva wasn't around, she made it a game. Hey, she'd say, I'll wash 5 pieces, then you come and start drying. You catch up with me, you can quit. And then, we had to dry like crazy. We caught up, we could quit. She made a game out of it. If we drive down the road, she'd make up a game. We were milking cows, we played games. I don't know if everybody played this game, but we used to milk cows, and we had to guess how many kids were in everybody's family and neighborhood. You'd say 2 boys, 2 girls. And then we'd all sit there and guess what we're not with. She made up a game with everything. And that's been fun, you know, and our kids have enjoyed that too. And I know your pride and joy is your sons, Myron and Royal. And the reason even I know that is Mom gets sick, she goes to the hospital, Eva calls her, she tells me Mom's in the hospital, okay. So Eva goes up to see her every day. I call her every day, Mom's still sick. All of a sudden, Myra goes up to visit her once, Royal calls her, Mom's home the next day.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Eva? You know, it says all the chicks are Myra and Royal, Mom gets well. Well, being she's so crazy about her son, I've always kind of felt I always had to compete with him. At home, Myron feels you listen to him, you know better, you know. Listen to Myron. So I always had that over. Then along came Royal. I could not compete with him because all there was stories about Royal. And you don't even want to mention Royal's mom because she's got 100 stories about Royal when he was little. And so I thought, maybe I should do something bad so that she has some stories about Velma. But I didn't. But I thought, okay, I'll go west. I did. And I was finally able to give her something that my brothers could give her, and that was a son-in-law. So I gave her a son-in-law, and I gave her the best son-in-law she had. And I was so proud of myself. And I said to Eva, I finally did it. Hey, I did something better than my brothers. Didn't take long. What do you think my brothers do? One becomes the mayor and the other one a millionaire. So I'm not going to compete with you guys anymore. I could go on, but everybody's coming up. This is enough. I just want you to know, Mom, we have wonderful memories that you made for us. You've done it, and we love you, and the fun we have together as a family centers around you. And I want you to know she didn't want a birthday party. She said, you celebrated my 80th, you cannot celebrate again. She was so set on that, but we didn't listen to her, we celebrated. And we're going to tell you today, when you turn 100, we're going to celebrate again. Oh, you got me? And we have to do this, because we were raised that way. My dad had a birthday party for my mother every year. No matter what, my dad had to celebrate my mother's birthday. So why wouldn't we do that, Mom? I remember it. Every year it was a surprise. February 14th turned around, but there was a surprise for my mother. And it used to be so funny. I mean, everybody knew Mom would turn to the living room, and I was looking out the curtain. The cars would turn the lights off at number 11, come down the drive, and then they come to the door, surprise. For many years, it was Edmund House, Carol, Edmund House, Mike Ritter, George Strong, Julia Doctors, and Maggie Ritter with her big angel food cake. They come in the door, it was always a surprise. Well, one year I came home from school, and Dad said, he told me, everybody's coming. I said, well, yeah, I kind of thought that. And he said, she won't be surprised. And I said, maybe we can surprise her. Well, you always hung your wash out on the line, even if it's broke stiff. I had to go out and get the wash and stick the jeans in the snowbank, and then gather it all, bring it in. So I came in, and I put up the line, how we string it from the bedroom door to the living room door and out the kitchen. And Mom would say, what are you doing? I said, well, I got to hang them in the basement. I said, no. She said, well, don't you think Dad's having people in? I said, no, not tonight. And she said, are you sure? I said, no, Dad told me no party this year. He's just not going to do it because you always know it and you're never surprised. So I hung the clothes up throughout the whole house. And after supper, Dad and I told Mom to go lay down. We do dishes. It's your birthday. So she went in and laid down. Well, it didn't take long. I was looking out the window of the car, and they came in the house and stood in the kitchen behind the wash, and then we called Mom. That time she wasn't too happy with me. Everybody else surprised. Anyway, that's about all I have to birthday. I love you, Mom. You're a great lady. And you've just given me so much in my life. And it's just wonderful to be your daughter. And yes, if everybody's asking, is she going to Yakima? One day she is, the next day she's not, but she hasn't missed a grandchild's birthday. Our son's getting married in March. We think she's going to be packing and going with us. In fact, we know she will. And if any of you here in Ashley want to know ahead of time, in August, another son's getting married, she'll come again. Okay? And for Christmas, we may get her to Yakima. I don't know. It's no different out there. She has children, a lot of us, good doctors. Taking care of her. But, thank you.
Well, I know she's still in your will. Is there anybody else that would like to say something? I don't know how you can top that. Nobody else? Anyone figure out how that's going to work with my age yet?
There'll be a funeral before.
Anyway, that's about all we have for the program. So this time we just like you to just visit with each other, and in a while we're going to have something to eat, and we can all sit down again after that. So thank you all for coming. I guess that's it.
I think I'm gonna go talk to the millionaire. I love you, man.
Good job. You know, how do you want to do it? You want to stay on the table? Excuse me.
So instead of going down there,